What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another F1 24 My Team Career Mode episode. Today, round 14 of Season 2 around Mexico City Grand Prix circuit. Now, I do like Mexico. There's some really nice corners to it, I think. I'm not the best at Mexico. My lines could be potentially a bit better, especially this final corner. But we're going to see how we do this weekend, starting off with Q1. So we're going to use all the battery, use the DRS as well, obviously. Gives us the most pace down this very, very long start-finish straight, braking just around the 100-meter boards, down into fourth, then third, potentially down to second through the first chicane that we have here on the circuit. A bit messy through turn 1, turn 2 and turn 3, but down towards turn 4 now. Yeah, just trying to get the nose in as best as I can, but it's not really coming together that well. We do have a very high downforce setup on for this sort of second and third sector. It's not going to help us really in the race, but through these corners here you might be able to see how much pace we gain on the cars ahead of us, but not quite. I mean, they still seem a relatively similar size, but we're still doing pretty well. 2 green sectors. We've done 1 lap in Q1, 1 lap in Q2, and 1 lap in Q3, so you're going to see all of those. You can just see Russell getting out of the way nicely for us, through into the final corner, missing the apex, putting the power down, back end getting a bit squirrely, but across the line for a 1:14.8, which is good enough for P1 in Q1. Don't know if that was the final standing at the end of that session, but we are through nevertheless, so let's see if we can replicate that in Q2. I've also challenged myself a little bit in this video just to do all of qualifying on one set of soft tyres, which is a bit tricky, especially in Q3 when you've already done a few laps. But as we're doing 1 lap only in qualifying in each session, it's not going to be too bad at all. Pretty tidy first couple of corners for us in this lap though, and breaking 100-meter board there, tip the car in, nice apex for us there. Again there, maybe a little bit slow on minimum speed, but overall we hit the apex nicely and then missed it there. The back end looking like it wants to just step out on us there, potentially the rear is getting a little bit warm under our car as we make some of these very high speed, very, I guess, like high pressure on the tyres, a lot of load going through them, especially under some of the traction zones. And Mexico City is quite a warm place. There's not really any time for the tyres to cool down except for down that start-finish straight. So nicer apex this lap on the final corner. Pretty tidy. Take a short run to the line. It's a 1:13.8, so a massive improvement compared to Q1. And again, safely through into Q3. But let's see how we deal with this lap. We've already done a few laps on the tyres that we have, as well as the out lap, so essentially this is our 5th and 6th lap on these tyres, and I'm holding off on the battery a little bit now down the start finish straight to use later in the lap. Essentially going to help our lap time a little bit further into the track. A messy first chicane, that back end just really stepping out on us massively, and yeah, just checking that Mercedes behind is looking a bit close, and I don't want to have any battles going on during our hot lap really. A little bit of a lockup on the right front, but it's not too bad. The back end again looking like it wants to get away from us here. It's a very quick setup, it's very pointy, and I like it in this middle section, but you've got to be careful with it, otherwise it will bite you. As you've seen already a couple of times, it gets a bit squirrely on us. But using the battery now down the second section, almost cut the corner, but managed to claw it back a little bit as we turned in a little bit too early, and then we go massively deep through this stadium section here and around the final corner in 3rd gear, up to 4th, 5th, 6th, and up to the line. But I'm not going to reveal what time we did or what position we got to. We're going to use the starting grid for that as Max Verstappen takes first. I did say in the title, Red Bull dominance is here. Sergio Perez lines up alongside his teammate for an all Red Bull front row. Then we've got Russell and Gasly, Hamilton and Stroll, Sainz, Piastri, then Tsunoda and ourselves in 10th, really far behind on Q3, but then Norris, our teammate Leclerc in 12th, then Ocon, Alonso, Magnussen, Daniel Ricciardo, Dennis Hauger, Teo Porcher, Logan Sargent, Alex Albon, and the wooden spoon is going to Kik Sauber with Hulkenberg and Joe rounding out the rest of our grid for this Grand Prix. Let's see what Mark has to say.
Mate, I know it's hot in that cockpit, believe me, but your tyres are even hotter than that. You've got to work really hard today to keep them cool, otherwise we're going to suffer with our performance.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a very similar message to what we had in the last episode, I think. Or maybe the episode before that. But yeah, it's looking like a medium hard or a hard medium strategy here. No use of the soft, so I shouldn't have saved them through qualifying. But if there's a late safety car, we're in the money. All the lights are on. Now they're out as we go racing here in Mexico. Pretty decent start in comparison to the McLaren and the RB of Tsunoda next to us. But Leclerc's right alongside. We're going to go down the inside. Not quite. We get cut off massively. Almost an airplane crash going down the start-finish straight. Now we're 3 wide into the first corner. This is not a good mix. I'm very scared right now, taking it as easy as I can. And then, luckily, we hold on to our position of P13, which obviously we got that handed to us after Tsunoda kind of cut our advance off down the start-finish straight. I'm looking for a bit of a switch back here. Can we get it done? No, we can't, as Ocon's there. We actually make a little bit of contact there with the Alpine, but no damage done for us, which I'm happy about indeed. Got to give him the space on the outside as we almost hit the back of that Haas in front. Kevin Magnussen going a little bit side by side with our teammate, but backing out of it. And yeah, almost cost us a front wing in that instance, but we're going to send it potentially down the inside. No, we're going to hold it here. Stay in behind him now. Everyone around us is on the mediums and we're on the hards, so we're going to have better degradation than they will, but they have the performance in this early part of the race. But now with a bit of DRS, maybe we can get the Haas in front, and we have run away successfully from those behind us, so there's no threat behind. It's all about attacking those ahead and really trying to catch those Red Bulls. As you can see in the minimap in the bottom left, I think it's Max Verstappen has run away a little bit with this race in the early stages, and Perez is trying to go with him, but he's obviously been fighting with those Mercedes cars in third and potentially fourth as well. We've been looking around the outside of Kevin Magnussen, send it a bit deep and give him the space, but not really necessary because, yeah, he just kind of gave us that position. I'm not sure if maybe he picked up some damage from his earlier battle with our teammate who is now just in front of us. But yeah, we've definitely got a Constructors' Championship to worry about here. So if there's anything we can do to hold up the cars behind, give our teammates some points, and yeah, get some good points in for the team, really, that's going to help us. But our battle is definitely with Ferrari, which is, yeah, both of them are up ahead of us. I think one of them is in third or fourth. The other one's in 8th, maybe 9th. George Russell taking fastest lap so far. We can't steal it from him. We don't have much ERS to play with, but now we do as we move on to lap 8. Potentially looking for a move on Leclerc. Just get around him as his tyres will start to go off very soon and ours are starting to come alive. So we do go around the outside of our teammate. We're still side by side here, but discourage him from being side by side in turn 3. Now we can get after Yuki Tsunoda, and yeah, there's a huge gap starting to form between us and the rest of the grid, and by us I mean ourselves and Leclerc. We're going to go around the outside of Tsunoda, but he's just going to squeeze us out on the exit there. And purple sector 1 so far. Obviously we do have the best engine, so potentially that's helping us out a lot down the start finish straight, but yeah, it could also just be our abuse of the ERS button, to be honest with you, that could be helping us there. But look at the setup that we have, really helping us out through those high speed corners of 7, 8 and 9, potentially 6 as well, you could claim, as we go down the inside. Nice clean move on the Visa Cash App RB there, and now the first of the Ferraris in Lando Norris just up ahead. We definitely need to take some points away from Ferrari. We're think about 20 points behind in the Constructors' Championship, but we're miles ahead in the Drivers. So I think for ourselves, we could be looking at taking the championship today. There's only a couple of races left, and we are quite a few points ahead of our teammate Leclerc. We're going to go around the outside of Lando Norris, just using Lance Stroll there as a bit of I guess a method of understanding what space we can give the Ferrari on the inside. But now we're going to look for a little move on the Aston Martin as well, as we're going to send it down the inside under brakes, try and get side by side, ride the curb a little bit around the outside of Piastri as well. Are our tyres really coming to us this well? Potentially. We do go a bit deep, locking the front right again as the yellow flag coming out. It looks like there's a Mercedes going slowly in the next complex of corners here. What is going to happen? Are we going to just avoid the rear of that McLaren, who's missing part of his front wing actually? But that was a very, very sketchy moment there. Now we're going to try and get the run on Oscar Piastri down towards turn 10, and a virtual safety car gets called just after we make the overtake, which is good for us in terms of claiming that position. But we'll see how the restart goes for us. VSC is ending now, and we've got to keep within the delta. We've got a 10th in hand. We timed that pretty well. Gasly still a little bit ahead of us, but obviously VSC just kind of neutralizes the race momentarily. Can we do anything to get past this Aston Martin, which, to be honest, the second part of the season, Aston Martin have looked immense. They've been really coming up the order very, very quickly, which is, it's quite cool to see actually, this alternate reality where Pierre Gasly and Lance Stroll are really making the most of it and actually challenging for podiums. But not today is our answer, as we go around the outside of our former teammate Pierre Gasly, and now we've got the other Ferrari of Carlos Sainz just ahead of us, who we're going to have to overtake and put some distance between ourselves and that beautiful looking scarlet red Ferrari, just to try and get some more points for the team. As we're just going to go around the outside again, similar to what we did to Pierre Gasly about a lap or so ago. And now it's just Lewis Hamilton ahead of us, as the back end starting to misbehave on us as the tyre wear creeps in on these hards. But so far, so good. Hamilton's not going to have any DRS. We have some ERS, but we also have the DRS to play with. So let's see if there's anything we can do. We are going to stick him behind during this final sector though, just to make sure we get the DRS, the double dose of DRS down the pit straight and just after turn 3 as well, as Hamilton's actually coming into the box as we almost spin, making contact with his kind of rear diffuser, and yeah, almost turned the car around as we were sort of dragged to the right as Hamilton was trying to peel into the pits. But moving on to lap 16 now, we've trying to go for the overcut, and Red Bull dominance is proving itself to be a very worthy title of this video, as Verstappen now only 4 seconds behind us. He was only about 6 seconds behind us when he left the pits. Such was his advantage around the pit stop stage. Now everyone's going to be on hards that they've been on for probably about 5 laps now. We're going to be on the medium, so we're going to be on a much faster tyre. They will potentially start to wear quite heavily towards the end of the race, so potentially concerned about that, but we should be pretty good. We're actually going to come out ahead of both Ferraris, which, to be honest, with an overcut, that's actually not that bad. We've done well to hold on to that position, considering the tyre difference of, you know, we had the hards on for 12 laps already when they boxed onto fresh hards. But as you can see, the hards are a pretty good race tyre, as Pierre Gasly and Hamilton are definitely going racing here, wheel to wheel throughout all of Sector 1. We're looking for a switchback, but the sausage curb kind of tells us not to, on the inside of that corner there. And yeah, now we've just really got to go our head down, use the DRS to our advantage, get past both of these cars, set a new fastest lap, and get after those Red Bulls. I believe Sergio Perez is going to be the first up, as Verstappen was in the lead when we came into box. Around the outside of Hamilton, nice and easily And now Gasly, please give us some lovely DRS and make it an easy move. But you can see in the top left, Perez 15 seconds up the road. Such is the advantage, and it's not even just that it was P1 and P2, because Perez was battling with, I think it was Hamilton or Russell potentially, who obviously is retired now. But if we go around the outside of Pierre Gasly into turn 1, should be a pretty easy move for us on these mediums, and it is, and that gives us that second dose of DRS and a clean run for the rest of the lap. It should be a purple sector 1 coming in for us just now, and it's not. It's only a personal best, so I'm assuming that's just because of the turn 1 side by side with Pierre that kind of took away some time. But obviously the Red Bull's got clean air. Perez was battling with a Mercedes at the start of the race, and they're just so far up the road. I don't know if there's anything I can do to stop them at this moment in time, but this is going to hurt our Constructors' Championship. It won't really hurt our drivers too much, as our closest rivals are definitely behind us. I believe it's Lando Norris and Leclerc that are our closest. Norris in third and Leclerc about 60 points back or something like that in the drivers. So we've got, we've got a fastest lap. There you go, a 15.4 for us there. And do we dare go for another one? I think we did get one after that, as now we're on the final lap, because there's just nothing we can do about those Red Bulls in front. We've only gained 13 seconds on Perez. Well, sorry, not 13. We've only gained 2 or 3 seconds on Perez. He's still 13 seconds up the road. And yeah, there's just nothing we can really do. Our mediums are definitely faster than their hards. Maybe not at this point, because they are overheating massively. There was a few laps where I was just watching the temperatures, and as I said at the beginning, there's just no rest for the tyres through this whole section here, as you can tell, as we lose the back end a little bit running through the very high speed section in the middle of this circuit, which is one of the parts I love the most, as we have a bit of a wobble again. There's your thumbnail right there, everyone. But yeah, you can see our mediums just giving up towards the end, thermal degradation, all of that good stuff. We did get fastest lap in the early doors, but Red Bull claimed the win and the bragging rights.
Oh, it's unbelievable! It is unbelievable. We've done it. We've done it. There were times this season where I didn't think that would happen, but mate, you have pulled it out the bag, and you are the world champion.
There it is. Come on.
And with that, another year of Formula One draws to a close, and a new World Drivers' Champion is declared. Another entry added to that prestigious list of the sport's most incredible drivers. And in the end, there was no Verstappen. Max Verstappen, he takes victory.
And that's 2 wins in a row now, of course, Crofty. And it marks the fact that it's not a fluke. So, their head's in the right space. What more can we see going forwards?
Yeah, I think if Red Bull had this performance earlier in the season, they would have been a real threat.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad that F1 25 is just a couple of weeks away, because I think if I was to head into Season 3 with the current way that the end of this season is looking, I would be a bit scared of Red Bull and what their potential is, really. We've got a lot of the upgrades on our car. We need Spec 3 on a lot of things, but we don't really have the cash. And yeah, when Red Bull pulls out wins like that and a 1-2, it's just very scary.
It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, me neither. What will be next is round 15. And that'll be coming out in a couple of days. Again, we're going to try and wrap this season up by the time F1 25 drops, which is at the end of this month. And yeah, just a couple of weeks away now. But Verstappen, then Perez, ourselves, Hamilton, Norris, Sainz, Gasly, Stroll, Leclerc, Tsunoda, Alonso, Magnussen, Piastri, Ricciardo, Sargent, Ocon, Hauger, Albon, Hulkenberg, Pourchaire, Zhou Guanyu, and Russell with a DNF. And that was all done in one breath. Thank you very much. Please give me an award. But yeah, Drivers' Championship for us. Great victory, I guess, to round out this season. Ferrari still 20 points ahead with 2 rounds left to go. We do need to outscore them as a team by 10 points at least to potentially get the title, which is a bit scary. So Norris and Sainz 18 points. I got 16, Leclerc got 2. So we got the exact same points as Ferrari this race, which is not ideal. But you're going to have to come back for round 15 and 16 to see what happens with the constructors. And yeah, to be honest, we can just push as much as we dare now. I don't want to take engine penalties just purely for this team battle that's going on right now, but yeah, we're going to see where we end up, and we're going to see what happens when F125 rolls out, if we can continue our road to glory, if that makes sense. Although I'm not going to call this series Road to Glory ever again. Don't know why, I just don't want to. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought of the race. It was very, very hectic, but I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and if you're new around here and you're still watching, I mean, first of all, there's more entertaining things to watch. Second of all, subscribe, or scriptside, whichever one you want to do. But yeah, I don't need to tell you guys how YouTube works. It's very obvious. And to be honest, you don't really even have to subscribe anymore. YouTube's algorithm's pretty good at pulling up the things on your home feed. But there we go. I'm going to run. I need to do some more recording just to make sure that we get this season finished before F125, and I also improve my own driving before F125, just so we can really make the most of any handling changes and car changes and everything like that the new game is going to bring. So we'll see how that works out, but I'll catch you all in a couple of days for round 15.